Imagine this. You're at work, and there's someone who constantly takes credit for your ideas, undermines your contributions, and creates tension wherever they go. They thrive on manipulation and playing mind games. They're not just trying to win, they're trying to make you feel small. Sound familiar? Now, what if I told you that there's a way to not only survive this kind of workplace environment, but actually outsmart it? What if I told you that there's a skill, one that's often overlooked, that can help you rise above narcissistic behavior and stay grounded, no matter how chaotic things get? It's not about getting defensive or playing their game. It's about tapping into your emotional intelligence. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how emotionally intelligent people not only deal with narcissists, but actually thrive in environments that are designed to tear them down. It's not magic, it's a mindset, and it starts with understanding the power of your own emotions. So let's talk about how emotional intelligence can help you turn the tables and create a space where you stay in control, no matter what's happening around you. When we talk about narcissism in the workplace, we're not talking about the occasional boss who loves the spotlight or someone who enjoys talking about their accomplishments. We're talking about a pattern of behavior that can be toxic, disruptive, and deeply detrimental to the overall health of a team or organization. Narcissistic individuals in the workplace tend to have an inflated sense of self-importance, a constant need for admiration, and a severe lack of empathy. A severe lack of empathy. These traits often drive them to manipulate situations and people around them to maintain their sense of superiority. At first, a narcissist can appear charming. They know how to work a room, say the right things, and present themselves in a way that draws people in. But as time goes on, it becomes clear that their actions are self-serving. They may take credit for the ideas of others, belittle colleagues to elevate their own status, and play off people's weaknesses to get ahead. They have a natural ability to create division, because their ultimate goal is not to collaborate, but to dominate. One of the most insidious aspects of a narcissist in the workplace is their ability to exploit others without them even realizing it. A narcissist will subtly manipulate situations, always positioning themselves as the hero or the one who deserves the recognition. And they do this in ways that are hard to detect because they're masters at appearing harmless or even charming when needed. They might compliment you in one moment, only to cut you down the next. They may act as though they care about your well-being, but it's always done with an underlying agenda. What can you do for them? Their behavior can create a toxic environment. Over time, this creates a culture of fear, competition, and mistrust. The narcissist thrives in such an environment because it keeps others off balance, distracted, and focused on fighting for their position rather than working collaboratively for the greater good. When this happens, productivity suffers, morale drops, and people start to leave. Now, this is where emotional intelligence comes into play. Emotionally intelligent individuals, unlike narcissists, recognize the importance of collaboration, trust, and mutual respect. But understanding narcissism is the first step in addressing it. Emotional intelligence helps us navigate the complex and often subtle ways in which a narcissist will try to manipulate and control the environment. These individuals can spot narcissistic behaviors quickly, and more importantly, they know how to manage their own reactions to them. Being aware of the behaviors narcissists exhibit helps emotionally intelligent people avoid falling into their traps. For example, if a narcissist starts to take credit for something you've done, an emotionally intelligent person won't immediately react with anger or frustration. They know that reacting impulsively only feeds into the narcissist's need for drama and attention. Instead, they'll choose their response carefully, taking a step back to assess the situation objectively. They don't internalize the narcissist's actions or let them dictate their own behavior. At the same time, emotional intelligence enables individuals to stay calm when faced with a narcissist's manipulations or provocations. Narcissists thrive on creating chaos and controlling emotions, whether it's through guilt tripping, playing the victim, or undermining others. Emotionally intelligent individuals, however, have the self-regulation to remain grounded. They understand that the narcissist's behavior is a reflection of their own insecurities, not a reflection of the emotionally intelligent person's worth or abilities. This self-regulation is key. It's easy to get pulled into the emotional drama that a narcissist loves to create. But emotionally intelligent people can resist the urge to engage in petty arguments or power struggles. Instead, they focus on maintaining their integrity and staying true to their values, even when the narcissist tries to draw them into conflict. They understand the narcissist's actions aren't about them. They're about the narcissist's need to feel superior, which can never truly be satisfied. But even more importantly, emotionally intelligent people recognize that dealing with a narcissist isn't just about defending themselves. It's about recognizing the toxic behavior and refusing to let it derail the team's goals. When a narcissist is causing disruption, emotionally intelligent people step up and steer the focus back on the team's objectives. They can manage their emotions and the emotions of others, making sure that the group doesn't get caught up in the narcissist's attempts to create division or tension. Ultimately, emotionally intelligent people don't allow themselves to be influenced by the narcissist's need for admiration or control. They maintain their own sense of purpose and align with others who share that sense of purpose, knowing that a team built on collaboration, trust, and empathy will always outperform a team driven by fear and competition. When we understand how narcissism operates in the workplace, we are better equipped to protect ourselves and our teams from its toxic effects. Futs. Emotionally intelligent people don't let narcissists win. They outsmart them, not by playing the narcissist game, but by staying true to what matters most: genuine relationships, mutual respect, and a shared commitment to something greater than individual ego. At the end of the day, emotional intelligence isn't just a tool for survival in a workplace filled with narcissists. It's a strategy for thriving. Because when you lead with empathy, self-awareness, and integrity, you won't just navigate the storm, you'll change the weather. When we talk about emotional intelligence, it's not just a fancy term or a buzzword. It's a crucial skill, one that separates those who thrive in challenging environments from those who struggle to keep up. It's the difference between reacting impulsively and responding thoughtfully, between shutting down in the face of a narcissist and staying calm and collected. Emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize, understand, and manage our emotions, as well as the emotions of others. But it goes deeper than just awareness. It's about using that understanding to guide our behavior in ways that help us build meaningful relationships and navigate complex situations. To start, let's break it down into its core components. The first is self-awareness. This is the ability to be conscious of your emotions in the moment. It's about noticing when you're feeling frustrated, anxious or excited, and understanding how those emotions might influence your behavior. Think about a time when you were caught off guard by something at work, a sudden email, an unexpected meeting, or a comment that triggered you. Self-awareness is the skill that helps you pause and take a step back, recognizing that your immediate emotional reaction might not be the best one. You become less likely to act impulsively because you're more attuned to how you're feeling and why. When you're emotionally intelligent, you understand your emotional triggers and you take responsibility for them. So, if a narcissist in the workplace tries to provoke you by undermining your work, for instance, you can recognize that your first impulse might be to react defensively or lash out. But instead of being driven by that instinct, you can make a conscious choice to respond differently. You might take a deep breath, step away for a moment, and choose a more measured response. By understanding your emotions and how they can influence your actions, you regain control rather than letting the situation control you. It's situation control. The next component of emotional intelligence is self-regulation, and this is where the real magic happens. It's one thing to be aware of your emotions, but it's another to manage them in a way that's constructive rather than destructive. When you regulate your emotions, you're able to keep your responses in check, even when things aren't going your way. Uh, Self regulation allows you to stay calm under pressure. Think clearly when faced with a challenge, and keep your focus on the bigger picture rather than getting caught up in the drama of the moment. Think about how emotionally intelligent people deal with narcissists in the workplace. Mhm. A narcissist may try to throw them off balance by spreading rumors, taking credit for their ideas, or belittling their contributions. An emotionally intelligent person, however, won't react by getting angry or lashing out. Instead, they'll take a step back and evaluate the situation. They know that the narcissist's behavior is about them, not the emotionally intelligent person, and they don't let it trigger an emotional response. In a high stress moment, self regulation enables them to think before acting, choosing to stay calm and respond in a way that protects their integrity without sinking to the narcissist's level. But self regulation doesn't just help you stay calm in moments of conflict, it also helps you stay motivated. Self motivation is another essential element of emotional intelligence. It's what keeps you focused on your long term goals, even when you're faced with setbacks or challenges. Narcissists are great at causing disruption, and they can throw people off course by making the workplace environment tense and unpredictable. But emotionally intelligent people don't let themselves get derailed by the chaos. They keep their eyes on the prize, driven by their own internal values and the bigger vision of what they're working toward. They don't let the narcissist's behavior dictate their mood or their actions. This ability to stay motivated, no matter the obstacles, is what helps emotionally intelligent individuals continue to perform at a high level, even when faced with workplace bullies or toxic colleagues. Kids. They are not swayed by the ego driven power plays of others. Instead, they stay grounded in their own sense of purpose. When a narcissist tries to create division, an emotionally intelligent person will rise above it, staying focused on the task at hand, not on the drama being created around them. The final key component of emotional intelligence is empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. This doesn't mean you have to agree with everyone, but it means you can see things from their perspective. In the context of working with narcissists, empathy helps you understand their motivations, even when their actions are less than ideal. Narcissists often behave the way they do because they're seeking validation or trying to protect themselves from feelings of inadequacy. While that doesn't justify their actions, understanding their behavior gives you the insight to manage your own reactions and prevent being manipulated by them. Empathy also helps you foster strong relationships with colleagues who are not narcissistic. It allows you to build trust and create a sense of connection with others, even in challenging environments. When you're emotionally intelligent, you naturally build alliances with people who share your values and goals, and this can be a powerful tool when dealing with narcissists. Why? While narcissists often try to isolate people and play others against each other, emotionally intelligent people are skilled at creating a supportive network around them, making it harder for the narcissist to succeed in their attempts to divide and conquer. So, when you bring emotional intelligence into the workplace, it's not just about managing your own emotions, it's about using that emotional insight to build better relationships, make smarter decisions, and stay focused on what truly matters. I focused on what truly matters. It's the key to outsmarting narcissists. Because when you approach situations with self awareness, self regulation, motivation, and empathy, you become impervious to their attempts at manipulation. You stay grounded, you stay focused, and you stay true to your values. At the end of the day, emotional intelligence isn't just a set of skills, it's a mindset. It's about understanding yourself and others, and using that understanding to create a work environment where respect, collaboration, and trust can flourish. Then trust can flourish. When you master emotional intelligence, you don't just survive narcissistic workplaces, you thrive in them. Let's talk about one of the most important aspects of emotional intelligence that can make a world of difference when you're dealing with narcissists in the workplace: self awareness. It's the foundation of everything we've discussed so far, because if you don't understand your own emotions, how can you expect to navigate the complex dynamics of the workplace, especially when you're up against a narcissist who thrives on creating chaos? Where's do we? Oh, self awareness is all about understanding yourself, your feelings, your triggers, your values, and your reactions. It's about being able to recognize in the moment what's going on inside you. And this isn't something that happens automatically. It takes practice and a willingness to get real with yourself. But once you master self awareness, you can see the world around you in a clearer, more objective way. And when you're dealing with someone like a narcissist, that ability to stay grounded is crucial. Think about it for a second. Think about it for a second. How many times have you been in a situation where a narcissist said or did something that rubbed you the wrong way? Maybe they took credit for something you did, or maybe they made a dismissive comment that made you feel small. At that moment, your instincts might be to get defensive, to snap back, or to let the situation get under your skin. That's where self awareness comes in. It helps you pause and recognize that the way you're feeling, angry, hurt, frustrated, is your response, not necessarily the reality of the situation. And in that pause, you get to decide how you want to respond rather than reacting impulsively. Self awareness allows you to take a step back and reflect. It helps you ask questions like, why am I feeling this way? Or what's really at the heart of my frustration? You can begin to separate your emotions from the situation, which allows you to respond from a place of clarity rather than reaction. For instance, when a narcissist takes credit for your work, an emotionally intelligent person, aware of their own feelings, would recognize their frustration, but also acknowledge that this reaction may be rooted in a desire for validation. This understanding enables you to rise above the situation and not allow it to derail your peace of mind. Moreover, self awareness helps you spot patterns in your interactions with narcissists. Maybe you notice that certain situations or comments tend to set you off more than others. With that awareness, you can start to understand why those situations trigger you and how to prevent them from affecting you as deeply. Over time, you learn how to manage your own emotions more effectively, and you're no longer a passive participant in your interactions. Vistas of loss. Instead, you become the active driver of how you respond. Here's another layer to self awareness. It's not just about recognizing your emotional responses, it's about understanding your values and how they align with the environment you're in. When you're clear on what's important to you, when you know what your core beliefs are, it's much harder for someone like a narcissist to manipulate or shake your confidence. Narcissists thrive on insecurity. They want to create doubt, division, and fear. But if you're rooted in your own sense of self-worth and aligned with your values, you're far less likely to fall for their games. For example, let's say you value integrity, collaboration, and transparency. A narcissist might try to undermine your work or take credit for your ideas, but if you know that your value is integrity, you won't need to fight them on their terms. You won't need to sink to their level or get caught up in their drama. Instead, you can focus on living by your own values and creating the work environment you believe in, regardless of how the narcissist behaves. Being self-aware also means you're better able to identify when a narcissist is playing their typical games of manipulation or control. Narcissists are masters at exploiting others' vulnerabilities, but when you understand yourself and your emotional triggers, you can see those tactics coming from a mile away. You can tell when they're trying to gaslight you, when they're deflecting responsibility, or when they're trying to pull you into an emotional power struggle. And knowing this gives you a tremendous advantage. You can maintain your composure and stay one step ahead, refusing to get drawn into their web of manipulation. Self-awareness also enables you to regulate your emotions when dealing with a narcissist. You can recognize when you're starting to feel triggered, and instead of reacting immediately, you can take a breath and assess the situation. You might realize that the narcissist is just looking for a reaction, and by not giving them one, you disarm their tactics. This is where emotional intelligence really shines, because when you are aware of your emotions and understand how to manage them, you're not just reacting to the narcissist, you're proactively choosing how to engage with them. You're with them. But let's not forget, self-awareness also helps in moments when a narcissist tries to isolate you or turn people against you. Narcissists often work by creating division, by turning colleagues against each other, or by making you doubt your own abilities. But when you're clear on who you are and what you bring to the table, you're not easily swayed by their manipulations. You know your worth and that confidence is contagious. Other people will start to see that confidence, and it will help build trust and respect. Even when the narcissist tries to create chaos, self-awareness is the key to outsmarting narcissists. It's the foundation that gives you the clarity, composure, and confidence to rise above their tactics. That's two. By understanding yourself and your emotional responses, you can avoid getting caught up in the narcissist's web of manipulation. You can maintain control, stay true to your values, and create a positive environment around you, regardless of the toxic behavior from others. So, next time you're faced with a narcissist trying to throw you off balance, remember, self-awareness is your superpower. With it, you can stay grounded, stay focused, and stay in control. Because when you understand yourself, nothing can shake you. Let's now dive into one of the most powerful components of emotional intelligence: empathy. This is often where people get it wrong. They think empathy is about agreeing with someone or always feeling sorry for them. But empathy is much deeper than that. Empathy is much deeper than that. It's about understanding the emotions of others and using that understanding to guide your own actions. It's about recognizing that everyone is coming from a different place and trying to understand the why behind their behaviors, especially in a workplace where emotions can run high and tension can escalate quickly. Now, let's be clear, empathy isn't about condoning or excusing poor behavior. When you're dealing with a narcissist in the workplace, empathy doesn't mean giving them a free pass for their manipulative actions, but it does mean that you're not getting swept up in the drama they try to create. Instead, you're able to see them for who they truly are, and in doing so, you maintain your emotional balance and perspective. You see, narcissists often act out of fear, insecurity, lack of validation, or even past trauma. They're constantly trying to prove themselves to the world. And while this doesn't excuse their behavior, understanding this about them can give you the emotional space to avoid taking their actions personally. Think of it this way: when a narcissist undermines you in a meeting, maybe they dismiss your ideas or act like they're the only person who has anything valuable to say. Instead of reacting emotionally, empathy allows you to step back and ask, why are they behaving this way? When you're able to empathize with someone, even just enough to understand their internal world, it gives you the power to choose how you respond, instead of getting sucked into their ego-driven need for validation. See the person. You understand that their actions are more about their need to feel superior than about you or your ideas. Empathy, in many ways, is the antidote to the narcissist's manipulation. A narcissist often thrives by creating conflict or sowing doubt. They want to manipulate emotions, both your own and others. And while they may succeed in playing mind games in the short term, emotionally intelligent individuals who practice empathy can turn the tables. You see, when you understand that the narcissist is driven by fear or insecurity, you stop playing their game. You no longer feel the need to defend yourself or prove your worth, because you recognize that their attacks have nothing to do with you personally. This also means that when dealing with a narcissist, you don't allow yourself to be baited into arguments or emotional reactions. Narcissists are excellent at getting under people's skin. They know how to push buttons, make accusations, or play the victim, all in an effort to control the conversation and steer the narrative in their favor. But empathy allows you to resist this manipulation. You can see through their tactics, and instead of reacting in anger or frustration, you respond with understanding. This doesn't mean you allow them to walk all over you. It means you don't give them the emotional fuel they need to continue their behavior. One of the biggest mistakes people make when they're in conflict with a narcissist is thinking that the narcissist will change or that they'll come to their senses. But the truth is, narcissists rarely change. Their behaviors are deeply ingrained, and they often lack the self-awareness or empathy to recognize how their actions impact others. The key to surviving and thriving around a narcissist is not about changing them, but about adjusting your own mindset. Your own mindset. And this is where empathy comes in. Empathy helps you step back and recognize that the narcissist's behavior is ultimately their issue, not yours. Once you have this understanding, you stop internalizing their actions, which is what they want. What? At the same time, empathy helps you manage your own emotions and those of others. In a workplace dominated by a narcissist, emotions can run high. People can feel undermined, frustrated, or confused. By practicing empathy, you can be a source of stability and calm in the storm. You can listen to your colleagues' concerns, offer support, and help create a sense of unity and trust. You won't let the narcissist's behavior spread negativity throughout the workplace. Instead, you become a calming force, one that brings clarity, perspective, and emotional resilience to everyone around you. But let's be honest, dealing with a narcissist can be exhausting. Their constant need for attention, their tendency to take credit for your work, their habit of trying to control the narrative, it can wear you down if you're not careful. That's why empathy isn't just about understanding others. It's also about taking care of yourself. Self-care is a vital part of emotional intelligence, and empathy allows you to recognize when you need to step back and recharge. When you understand your own emotional limits, you can protect your energy and prevent burnout. After all, you can't pour from an empty cup. Empathy also goes beyond just understanding the narcissist. It's about understanding the people around you. When you have empathy for your coworkers and colleagues, you build stronger relationships with them. In a toxic environment where a narcissist might try to sow discord, empathy can help you create a culture of support and collaboration. It allows you to strengthen your own team, making it more resilient to the toxic behaviors of the narcissist. When you foster an environment of empathy, people feel heard and valued. This creates a shield against the narcissist's attempts to divide or manipulate, because everyone is united in their respect for one another. At the heart of it, empathy is about connection. It's about seeing the humanity in others and treating them with kindness, even when they don't deserve it. Narcissists may be difficult, but they are still human beings with their own insecurities and struggles. When you empathize with their situation, not to excuse their behavior, but to better understand it, you put yourself in a position of power. You stop reacting to their tactics, and instead, you rise above them. You choose to focus on what's important, creating meaningful connections, fostering a healthy work environment, and staying true to your values. Because no matter how loud the narcissist gets, no matter how much they try to manipulate or control, you remain steadfast in your understanding, your integrity, and your emotional intelligence.